What is going on, everyone? My name is Boyd, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in at the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Wooloo. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Isis, is Xerxes. The map is a watering hole. This is a best of 5 for the finals of the Random Sif Smurf tournament. Exciting times. Wooloo took that first game with some really nice map abuse. It's always super important to scout your map and then play towards it. And also to react to your map is equally as important. And just as an aside, I'd like to say that if you ever go back in time to like the 1.03 days with the Age Mythology maps, they were so much. They had such a higher variance than nowadays, so there was a lot more adaptability needed to play those maps. Some might argue that it was imbalanced, which is probably correct in a way, but you had to be able to adapt. There was another skill, and I find as these players have been playing these patches have been out for so long. These players have been used to these maps where things are supposed to be a certain way, and we've kind of lost that art of adaptability. And that last game just like reminds me of what it's what could have been done back in the day, and the fact that he managed to read it and then react to it well enough and put the pressure on it and get a win there was really cool. So we'll see if something similar happens this game, and we'll go on right now. So Isis versus Zeus on this map. This is actually not as easier as a map as you'd think for the Isis player. So the Isis player kind of gets a 3-second town center here, but Zeus kind of gets what he wants here a little bit. He gets access to Hermes and can like get town centers himself, and if you're unaware of how strong Zeus's late game is and how hard he hits when he gets there, it can be really difficult for an Egyptian. But that all being said, it's a high hunt map which favors fast town centers, because if you have lots of hunt, you can spam villages nice and easily, because you don't have to go onto farms, and affording the gold or wood to get onto farms can sometimes be a bit difficult when you go into town centers already. So it does favor a little bit of that defensive playstyle that Egyptian players like, calculated booms. And for the Zeus player, it does shut down a lot of strategies because of the closed choke points. Like you're probably not going to see an Athena rush here, just simply because we can wall this off and have sentry towers or watchtowers picking off his units, and there's gold mines that are both sides of the map most of the time. Not this game, but they are. So this would actually be I'm saying all this stuff. Would actually probably not be a half bad map to Athena rush this gold mine here, because if you can get this side of the map then and wall off here yourself, then you force the Isis player to have to come over to this gold mine, which you won't be able to do because your army will be here. So all you have to do is be able to bash through these houses and kill the tower, and you might be able to gold star. But it's a back town center as well, so if Xerxes could grab this town center, then he would get access to this gold mine and that hunt. So I take it all back. It's probably not going to see an Athena rush on this now, very rarely. There's just too many variants. As I say that, Wooloo is going Athena. But this does not mean Athena rush. This means Athena 2 town centers is my guess. And as we're seeing villagers move forward, and he's potentially just going to completely make me look like a fool. And yes, he's okay. This is actually he's just laughing right in my face. Apparently I know nothing. He hasn't even scouted yet, has he? It's just a blind Athena rush. It's actually just a blind Athena rush. I kind of hate it. It sucks because it's actually not the worst map for him. Send a Jason over here, make sure you prevent this town center, and then when you get out enough hoplite, just go for this location here. But Wooloo, like his scouting was not good at all. If he's thinking about Athena rushing here, what you need to do with the scout is you find second hunt, which you already kind of had found, and then you just go straight for the opponent's base and you scout everything there and come back and scout at about the 5-minute mark. When you've scouted their entire base, you go backwards and scout. Use your pigs that you have to scout the bottom sides of the map and the top sides of the map. But we are seeing... Wait. That's cool. That's cool. Okay. I sort of missed it, but I didn't at the same time. So there was an obelisk here. So Xerxes had seen... I'm not sure if like Wooloo knew there was an obelisk there. It's kind of just mind games. But there was an obelisk here. And Wooloo threw down his military academy. So Wooloo thinks now, if we jump into his perspective, Wooloo thinks that there is a military academy here. But Xerxes thinks there's a military academy here. But Wooloo deleted it, and he's going into a 2-town center Athena play now. And that's going to force out, potentially, a barracks. But Xerxes not overreacting here, sending the Sphinx forward, going to spot it before he thinks about going anything like that. But we are preventing Xerxes from going 2-town center here. So really, really smart play. The bolt on the Sphinx comes down. Xerxes now knows that the military academy is not there. And he's going to... and he's going to see the 2-town centers coming through for Wooloo right now. So incredible fake right there. I find that this game, the game of Age of Mythology, mind games is not something we get to see very often. So that was really cool. That's definitely a top highlight right there for me at the very least. Now Jason, Minotaur coming in right now. So long as he targets the Minotaur with the Pharaoh and the Priest, and the villagers get onto the Jason, there's no way for this to be prevented here. And we are going to be seeing a little bit of that villager fight. Actually, a couple more villagers coming in to help out, but maybe when the Odysseus gets in, it's going to be a little bit more of an issue. But I feel like this town center will be getting up, and all he has to do is pick off the rest of this Jason, and he's going to be throwing away villagers as well. So this is very all in a way, I guess. And cast restoration after the Jason is here, and now the Jason will be able to pick off the Pharaoh here. The villagers will be able to delay this town center quite a bit, and now priests are getting forced. This is some insane cheese right now. It's not exactly cheese either, but because Wooloo got the early town center up himself right now, even if he loses both of these villages, if his town center's been up for 30 seconds before Xerxes gets up, then that means that he's effectively even in villager count. So he's done a lot of damage here, and I'm pretty sure he's going to save most of these villagers, maybe one of these villagers, 50% of them. He should be able to get out of here. So it doesn't even lose both the villagers and delays that town center for ages. So we're a little bit further ahead of Xerxes, but I guess he did lose a Jason and he did lose a Minotaur in the process of all of that. So it kind of comes out maybe a bit even, maybe, who knows. Going on to the Hippo now, and the Prosperity coming down with the Armory up, and villagers. Wait, how much food does he have? It's like no food, maybe he's gonna have to go into farms? I'm really confused about what Xerxes' plan is right now. 26 villagers on gold, so it's like a peak efficiency. Oh, he's already clicked out. Okay. I didn't see that. So Xerxes actually managed to get a really nice timing here, given all of the shenanigans that happened. But now Wooloo, he's going for an aggressive town center here. This spells a little bit of doom against Isis, just because this gives Isis a target, which is not something you want to give Isis until later in the game when you can deal with it. If you're giving Isis a target to attack, that means their Ancestors Eclipse becomes very, very powerful because you can't run away from it very easily. So kind of all Xerxes needs to do now to deal a lot of damage with Ancestors Eclipse is build 2 or 3 siege towers, get a Migdol stronghold with a bunch of chariot archers, and then Ancestors Eclipse this location, and that's going to hurt Wooloo quite a bit. So we'll see if he does go for that or not, but at this point, we are just going to be seeing a bunch of villagers getting spammed out. Nice wall though. This is going to allow a very nice retreat path away from the Ancestors Eclipse, And it's kind of just quartering off the map here and giving him many different avenues of escape. But right now, no real military is being built at all for Wooloo, and Xerxes is feeling. I think Xerxes feels like he needs to go for a bit of an all-in here. Because, well, I mean, he could sneak around and grab a town center, but the walls are already up. And the siege workshop coming up. You can't really throw down 2 siege workshops here. Maybe get out 4 siege towers and just go for this town center. You might not even have to. At this point, it's looking like you might not even have to cast Ancestors Eclipse here. Which, if this is what the purpose of this town center is, then I don't think Xerxes is gonna cast Ancestors Eclipse here unless there's some army to defend against it. We are seeing the double siege workshop moving forward to grab the forward food yet again, or grab the forward food from Wooloo, and the Scorpion Man searching around for someone to do, but not finishing the siege workshop makes me a little bit unhappy. Probably don't need to build too many chariot archers at this point if you're trying to kill off this town center as soon as you can. But he's getting caught out here, going to be losing a couple of chariot archers. No, or maybe not even losing. If you can get away, remember you're Egyptian. If you get away with chariot archers as Egyptian, then you can just heal them back up with these priests here. And now we're going to be seeing that siege tower make his way over onto this town center. There's a couple of villagers here, so he can attempt to pick it off. Villagers do a ridiculous amount of damage against these siege towers. So we'll see if that happens or not here, but yeah, it's looking like he's going for it. But if you trade a couple of villagers for this siege tower, it's really, really good. And we are seeing the micro here running back as soon as the villagers come out. The town center's targeting the siege tower though, so this is not very good. You want to grab that town center onto the chariot archers if you can. Nice micro swapping these siege towers, trying to play a little bit of mind games there now. The Hippocon coming in. This is where he's trying to force Ancestors Eclipse. And I think this is going to be, this may be it here, but maybe it's going to be okay at the same point. With those Scorpion Men, so long as you can take the heroes down, and he's waiting a little bit for that Ancestors Eclipse, but there it goes. Coming down, it's going to be able to pick off the rest of these units, but it seems like a little bit of an over-eager pull there. He was kind of winning this fight without it. If he picked off this town, again, if he picked off this town center without casting Ancestors Eclipse, he would be in a really good position to push in the home base of Wooloo, but he does take the town center, and that's going to give him the map control here, and this is huge, but there's a nice wall here. Okay. The Ancestors quite quick, going to be able to get onto some of these villages, but they're just going to be able to run away through this wall. Gets 3 villager picks there, but not the end of the world for him at all. The town center now coming up for Xerxes, and because of this Ancestors, because of how boomy Wooloo's been playing this one, going through Dionysus as well. Xerxes now has this counter flip here where he can either go 3 town centers to the Mythic Age, or 4 town centers and try and get max boom and maybe chase the Mythic Age of Wooloo here. So we'll see what happens. The unit's getting picked off, so well played. Moving in, wall down. Dionysus comes in. Wooloo is sitting at 112 pop to Xerxes 151 now with lots of resources in the bank. Looking like he's going for this town center. Just going for the gold mine, fair enough. Now we do have Hydra out. That free Hydra will tank a lot of damage from those chariot archers. Hippocon coming in to pick off some of these siege towers as well. And slowly but surely going to be retreating away from here. These siege towers make you so slow. It's almost worth it to just run the chariot archers by themselves, but definitely looking to turn around as another Scorpion Man comes in there. Priests go onto that Hydra and do so much damage. Does he have funeral rites? Probably not, because he's been spamming so many Scorpion Men, so he doesn't have that one just yet. But it doesn't need it because this Hydra just dies so quickly there. It was tanked for a bit longer, but 4 priests is enough. Bronze comes down right now, and these are tough cookies. 47% pierce armor against these chariot archers. So the chariot archers are not going to be able to do too much damage, but they do pick off the Odysseus. And follow picking off the Odysseus with that Scorpion Man doing quite a bit of damage. And now he's got a barracks making those spearmen. I say this time and time again, but I really feel like you shouldn't build spearmen unless you've got medium upgrades. Especially against medium Hippocon, because they're not even a counter at that point. Like, they have 10% extra damage against the cavalry, which is like a 7.7 damage per second. whereas the Hippocon do 11 damage, or medium Hippocon do 11 damage. It's not, just prefer to grab medium upgrades just to make it a little bit more in our favour. But it's going to be totally fine. There's enough units here to carry the rest of it. And we are pushing in now. Xerxes has a pretty commanding force here, but Wooloo is sneaking this town center. He's run through here and he's grabbing it. So that's another really smart play from Wooloo here. Heracles coming out as well. So this is going to be a nice tanky unit with the 40% pierce armor that he's got sitting there, plus all that HP. But the town center just about to get up as Xerxes spots it, moves his villagers in, and he's going to prevent that town center. So a really nice play there by Xerxes, managing to spot that one, preventing the town center from going up. And that's going to be a bunch of dead villagers as well. And now Wooloo super far from the Mythic Age as well. He's got no hunt left. Just grabbing resources over here. He's actually got a little bit of zebra that's not being spotted from Xerxes yet. So that's really big. But you know, seeing the attacks coming in yet again, but picking off that Odysseus is pretty big when there's still another Scorpion man here. But Heracles and Jason should be able to pick that one off at some point. But just going to be retreating for the time being and healing that guy back up. Oh, it's not looking good at this point. So Xerxes sitting with 3 town centers, and there not being any real chance for Wooloo to get to the Mythic Age here. Just means that the longer the game goes, the better it is for him. So picking off more villages as well. Didn't run those villages for some reason. That's totally cool. Fine. Re-upgrades are pretty much 0 for both players. Got copper shields there for Wooloo, so that's nicely played because he's pretty much just fighting against the heavy chariot army. There are a couple of hack damage here, but generally speaking, we don't see Zeus grabbing armor upgrades at all until he gets to the Mythic Age and gets the Forge of Olympus in order to get the most efficient use of his resources, basically. And now the Hippocon moving forward, going to be picking off some stuff. Ooh, raid coming in here onto these villages, but these villages can just move up to the top, and the Hippocon's path fighting just not going to be good enough. And these laborers are going to be able to get out of there fairly soon. Turning around, going to be trying to pick off the heavy Hippocon. I don't know what he's going for here, but it looks like now we have heavy spearmen. So these spearmen start becoming really scary now. Now they've got 9.10 damage. Now it's looking like you're more like a 10 damage spearman against these 12 damage Hippocon. Makes it a little bit better off for him than the 7 damage against 10. It's now only like a 1 damage difference instead of like a 2 damage difference or whatever it is. But we're going to be retreating. We're getting out of there. We're actually going to get caught a little bit here, running into the Migdol stronghold. We're trying to get onto the villages. Villagers get pulled away. Not sure if that was necessary. Just get that Migdol weapon and garrison. Alt S and you're totally fine here. But Wooloo caught it off now into his little hole that he's in. But Hera is incoming now for Wooloo. But there's a Migdol stronghold here for him to garrison into, to potentially throw up a monument as well to God power block for a little bit longer. So if the lightning storm comes in, then you can at least save 10 chariot or even more into a town center or something like that. And that'll be it. More war elephant coming in. And the Odysseus does get picked off there. Hera comes through. A lightning storm comes in. These chariot archers are running for the Migdol. We don't quite all get in there. You can see Xerxes' population really falls right now. He's jumped from like 192 down to 145. Man, lightning storm is one strong technology. And that's going to be it there. Well, not really. It looks like Medusa's out, getting picked off by the 3-star. Nice micro, pulling that guy back. And it is looking like Wooloo going to be able to push through here, but he was forced to go Hera. So now he's in that issue of, now I'm in the Mythic Age, but I've still got to pay full price for my armor. So I can't really catch up in that way. Can't really catch up without Hephaestus here, so even though he's picked up a lot of units, they just get reproduced, and it's just going to slow down. It's just going to effectively slow down the Mythic Age of Xerxes. So he's not going to be able to get there. Well, I tell a lie. Xerxes gets there and he is pushing through. So we're just completely wrong there. And Wooloo insta taps out when he sees the Mythic Edge from Xerxes. So Xerxes gets this game done. Wow, given that, I'm surprised that Wooloo didn't. I think it was this town center. Like I said, it gave Xerxes a point to attack. You don't want to do that against Isis. You never want to give Isis a point to attack unless you think you can defend it. And 2 town center Isis all in on a 3 town center Zeus. It's just not going to be able to be defended, and he just loses this and then loses map control and everything else. Felt like he really, if he just went 2 town centers here and tried to get a Phaistos, or even grab this town center as a 3rd town center instead, a little bit easier to defend, but still I think stay 2 town centers, get some army going. Don't try and push for the victory, I think, like the economic or the town center victory too early, because you do open yourself up to those nasty Isis all-ins. Anyways, well played by Xerxes, gets his first win of the series. We're going to move on to that next game real soon. Thanks all for hanging out with me. I'm having a good time. And these are some good games, man. There's some good games. Let's give Xerxes his point.